Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world today. Coming to you today regarding a story, pretty important story, one that we've been following actually for a while over here on the Crimes and Investigations page. And pretty significant, um, I would say, ending of a trial yesterday, in which a 49-year-old Dallas man from Kenya, Billy Chemirmir, was actually found guilty of the murder of an 81-year-old woman in Dallas. Now, the thing about this man is stands accused of killing up to 18 people in the Dallas area. Now, this was actually a retrial that was taking place, okay? And essentially, Billy Chemirmir would be classified as a serial killer. Straight up, Dallas, Texas serial killer, except he liked to target the elderly, okay? Now, just kind of to give you guys a few details, I've got a video clip that I'm going to play, news clip, right? But shout out to everybody in the chat that's coming through. Appreciate you. Now, the murder that he was actually convicted of yesterday was the 2018 killing of Lou Ty Harris. Okay. He was found guilty of capital murder. Dallas County jury found him guilty of this capital murder after about 45 minutes of deliberation. So the jury decided that the evidence showed beyond a reasonable doubt that Billy Chemirmir killed 81-year-old Lou Ty Harris. Now, he will automatically get a sentence of life without the possibility of parole. That's just how it rocks in Texas. When you're convicted on capital murder is the highest level of murder in the state of Texas, right? Just like I know in different various states, you guys got different various felonies, right? A, B, C's, 1, 2, 3s. If you want to call it an felony A or whatnot, then it's capital murder here in Texas. Now, he was arrested. Billy Chemirmir, who, like I said, he's from Kenya. He was arrested back in 2018 after police said he assaulted another woman, but she survived the attack. He's also been accused again of the murders of a total of 18 women over a 2-year period in Dallas. Now, at the start of this trial, the jury was actually shown a video deposition in which a 91-year-old woman said she survived an attack by Billy Chemirmir. This is a quote. "My eyes were just fixated on these green rubber gloves that I saw. I knew instantly when I saw those two green rubber gloves, number one, I should not have opened the door. Number two, my life was in grave danger." And that was Mary Annis Bartell, who at 91 years old survived an attack by this man. Now, the Associated Press reported back in 2021 that Chemirmir had been arrested, right, in March of 2018 after he attacked Bartell at her apartment in Plano. Now, Mary Bartell has since passed away. She died back in 2020. And I think what's disappointing for me is that he's only been convicted of one of these, one of these 18 murders. Like 18? Where was he before Dallas? Like, what is his history? Is there any cases that would match up? Like, you don't just escalate up to a spree like that from nothing. So it really makes one wonder, doesn't it? It really does. It makes one really wonder. But I'm a little surprised that Texas isn't going for the death penalty on this. It is capital murder, right? And we know how Texas loves to stick the needle, in somebody's arm, right? We've talked about how these lethal injections, I mean, the public doesn't even know the formula that's being used in these lethal injections. But for some reason, that's something that's not on the table. I don't know. Maybe this automatic life sentence without the possibility of parole. Maybe it leaves open a possible door to get information about the other 17 murders. Okay. But just, let's talk a little bit about some of this circumstantial evidence or some of this evidence, because this was actually, believe it or not, a retrial. Okay. A retrial. So I'm going to share this out really quick. Give me a sec here. And you may hear the dryer. You may hear my dryer in the background. So my apologies on that. My mic picks up everything. All right. With me here. All right, cool. All right. So this again was a retrial, right? His first trial actually ended in a mistrial because of a hung jury. A new jury ultimately did decide he was guilty of killing 81-year-old Lou Harris in her Dallas home. She is one of 18 alleged victims, all of whom were senior citizens. And he attacked women in Dallas and Collin counties. So, Dallas County, of course, and Collin County, which is north of Dallas or whatnot, Plano area, McKinney area out there, you know, very much so known for being a horrible place to be locked up at. I'll tell you that. That Collin County jail out there was built on a um what would the word be? Like a dump, basically, literally, like a raised dump. I've heard all sorts of stories about like weird insects and things crawling all over the jail, just weird stuff, but very large jail. And out there, in Collin counties, there's a lot of money in Collin County, Plano, right? McKinney, the place is booming like crazy. And so, it's not exactly, it's like there's two counties in this area that you don't really want to get fucked up in. It's going to be Collin and Denton counties, right? But needless to say, this was his target, right? These senior citizens that were in Dallas and Collin counties. Now, the jury did get to see crime scene photos that were taken at Lou Harris's home. Now, Dallas police had forced their way inside the home after finding Billy Chemirmir in possession of some of Lou Harris's possessions. He had her jewelry box, bracelet, a necklace, and a ring. She was found dead on her bedroom floor. Her makeup appeared to be done except for her lipstick. It appeared to have some smearing or removal, okay? Prosecutors also showed jurors how the lipstick smudged pillow that was found on Harris's bed, they basically believed that it was used to smother her. And it is suspected that that was his method of killing, was smothering these people to death. And it's kind of interesting because during I don't know exactly the date, but one of the attorneys at one point that was defending Billy Chemirmir was actually arrested for soliciting a prostitute. It's just, just a side note or whatnot. But Needless to say, there was trails of blood from her nose and her mouth. And essentially, these items also found in his possession. Now, Harris's former son-in-law, Richard Reinhardt, testified and said that the 81-year-old would have never given away or sold her jewelry. She also collected $2 bills as gifts to friends and families. She would order them from the bank, like in bundles, like you would see in the movies. Investigators say that Billy Chemirmir had dozens of $2 bills in his possession at the time of his arrest. Now, the jury was also shown surveillance video from a Walmart near Lou Harris's home on the day of the murder. Lou Harris was seen shopping there at the same time that Billy Chemirmir was there. The surveillance video shows both of them pull out of the parking lot and then head in the same direction. Although Chemirmir left a few minutes earlier, prosecutors believe that Chemirmir was victim hunting at the Walmart and that Harris became his last target. Now, Billy Chemirmir was already suspected of other murders, but it wasn't until hours after Lou Harris's murder that police picked up his trail and arrested him. He, again, had her possessions. He was in possession of her things and was wearing the same shirt and hat that was seen in that Walmart surveillance video. Now, the medical examiner did testify that Lou Harris died from asphyxiation. He told prosecutors that it's possible that the lipstick-stained pillow was the deadly weapon used, although he could not be certain. Prosecutors believe that Billy Chemirmir has shown a pattern of killing senior citizens and stealing their jewelry. Now, Mary Bartell, who survived the attack in 2018 before dying in 2020, they testified, or detectives had testified, that some of her jewelry was being sold online from an account linked to Billy Chemirmir. And that detective was Brian Tabor, who spoke to that. So this trial went on for some time. Okay, and again, this was a retrial. Amazingly, the first one ended in hung jury. Here's the, I want to take a look here at this surveillance video. Now, this is the surveillance video where this is from the Walmart near Lou Harris's home. This is the day of the murder, where she was seen shopping at the same time that Billy Chemirmir was there. It's really scary because it's like, man, even going shopping out your local Walmart, these people are being poached upon and being targeted. It's very scary, very scary. But let's take a look here. There may be a commercial that'll pop up here, but just a second.
Possibilities at NFM.
Let's take a look at this surveillance.
Prosecutors continue today to try to link accused serial killer Billy Chemirmir with one of the 18 elderly women he's charged with killing.
It is the second trial on this same crime. The first ended in a hung jury. Store surveillance video that was played in court today showed Chemirmir in a Walmart at the same time as 81-year-old Lou Harris on the day of her murder. And hours after, police say he had Harris's house keys and jewelry. Fox 4's David Sintendry joining us now with more on the second day of the retrial. David.
Yeah, Heather and Steve, and prosecutors were trying to link Billy Chemirmir to Lou Harris by introducing that surveillance footage from inside a Walmart. They were in there at the same time and even at one point crossing paths with one another. This was the same day that Harris was killed.
Is that Mr.?
It is.
Prosecutors highlighting security footage showing 81-year-old Lou Harris entering a Walmart near her home the day of her murder.
And is that Billy Chemirmir walking?
It is.
They say Billy Chemirmir who's accused of murdering her, walked into the same Walmart moments after she did.
This is Miss Harris here.
Yes, sir.
This individual walks right here. Is that Mr. Chemirmir?
It is.
Prosecutors believe Chemirmir was looking for victims at Walmart, but the defense points out there's no sign of direct communication.
Nothing appears to show them having any communication, correct?
Not with each other. No, sir.
Chemirmir left a few minutes before Harris. Their vehicles pull out in the same direction.
He's in possession of Miss Harris's property.
Police say while investigating Chemirmir for a different case, Harris's possessions were found on or near Chemirmir, including her house keys, jewelry, and dozens of $2 bills, which Harris's son-in-law says she collected.
She would order them from the bank so that she would, like one of those bundles you see in the movies.
Harris was later found dead inside her home. Prosecutors showed jurors a lipstick-smudged pillow found on her bed. Investigators believe Chemirmir smothered her with it, even though the defense tried to suggest that he didn't.
There appear to be some trails of blood near her nose and her mouth. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir, I do.
There was no blood on that pillowcase, right?
No, none observed. No.
This trial only involves Harris's murder, but he's charged in 18 murders. Prosecutors believe Chemirmir has shown a pattern of killing senior citizens and stealing their jewelry. Mary Bartell survived an attack in 2018 before dying in 2020. On Tuesday, detectives testified that some of Bartell's jewelry was being sold online from an account linked to Chemirmir.
That's correct.
The trial resumes tomorrow. It is expected to go through the end of the week. Heather, Steve.
Well, it's crazy, right? Obviously, like they said, there was no direct communication necessarily that was taking place between them, but it's very obvious that he was targeting her. No question about it.
Create
Now,
is in her future.
sorry about that. I want to show this clip here because this is where he was found guilty.
Accused serial killer Billy Chemirmir was convicted of capital murder this afternoon. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Blake Hansen. It's 9 o'clock. Chemirmir was convicted of killing 81-year-old Lou Harris in her Dallas home in 2018. The first trial in this case ended with a hung jury, but there was a much different outcome today at the retrial. Fox 4's Stephen Dow joins us live with the verdict and what happens next. Stephen?
Billy Chemirmir will spend the night in the Dallas County Jail now as a convicted murderer. The victims' families say that they are relieved, but also say this is just the beginning.
Today, he went from being an alleged felon to a convicted killer.
5 months ago, there was a hung jury in Billy Chemirmir's first trial for the murder of Lou Harris. Thursday, it took a jury in the retrial less than an hour to convict him. His sentence, life in prison without parole.
You know, but justice was done, and it's not going to bring these mothers back. But this is step one.
He's accused of killing 18 elderly women by posing as a worker or caregiver at nursing homes and following women home from stores like Walmart. Prosecutors said Chemirmir stole his victims' jewelry and sold them online for thousands of dollars. The trial was only for the murder of Lou Harris, but the prosecution also introduced the jury to Mary Brooks, who was killed in 2018, and Mary Bartell, who survived her attack. Dallas County DA John Creuzot himself gave part of the closing arguments Thursday. Glenn Fitzmartin was the lead prosecutor.
We know that this pillow right here was used as the instrument of her death. I don't care how those marks got there, this way, this way, this way, or that way. They're there. What woman is going to put these lay down, flat down on her pillow and rub her lipstick on here and then just flip it over and leave it there?
The defense for Chemirmir rebutted that the state did not meet its burden of proof, saying in some of the videos you did not see Chemirmir in the car following the victim's home from the store.
Not a single ring doorbell, not a single nosy neighbor at a apartment complex, at a retirement community, in a close-knit old neighborhood. Not a single person or shred, sliver, or anything of evidence that places Mr. Chemirmir or anyone that may or may not meet his physical description on the days in question.
While Chemirmir is accused of killing 18 women, these families know there likely won't be a trial for each of their loved ones. So for many, this verdict and this case is closure.
These mothers and grandmothers and sisters and aunts and friends that we lost, they all were independent. They had a value, and Chemirmir took that. And we just want to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
There will be another murder trial, and it will go before the same judge that Chemirmir went before this week. The district attorney and the prosecution did not make any comment following the verdict. And as for Chemirmir's defense, he says that they respect the jury's decision, but does not accept the verdict.
Well, hey, Gloria, how are you, babe? Good to see you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. What's up, TRG? Hello, Stasha. How you doing? Well, definitely we'll be keeping my eyes on it. You know, this case sort of reminds me of a murder that actually happened when I was young. Give me just a second. Let me put this banner up here before I end this out. It kind of reminds me of a murder that happened when I was, younger in a little town, that I wouldn't, that I lived in at some point in my life. And there was an elderly lady named Martha Lennox that was killed by some individuals. And it has been said that the only thing they got really after killing her was, I think it was like $10 and her car, because I believe they were found in her car in Dallas, I think. But the state of Texas has executed, I believe, 3 of those individuals that was involved in that. I know that one of them did 5 years in jail. I know he's been released and he's been living his life or whatnot. He didn't actually participate in the murder, but he left prior to, but they got him for like what a conspiracy, right? And she was targeted because, number one, she lived in the nicest house in town, and everyone thought that she was this, this rich elderly lady. And it sort of, it just kind of reminds me of that. It really does. And how just horrible the whole situation is all the way around, because, it's, there's so many people that get affected by these types of acts, on both sides, family, friends, all that sort of thing. And, in the situation with Martha Lennox, it was a late night. It was the summertime too, I remember. And I think it was like 93 when this happened. And basically the Willie Earl Poindexter, right, and James Henderson, both have been executed by the state of Texas. But it is said that they are the 2 that each fired, a bullet into Martha Lennox's head as she sat on her bed. That's what was said in the trial, right? But like I said, Poindexter, he was executed back in like 2008, 2009, I believe. And it was actually publicized. There's a documentary actually on it, to be honest. Kind of shocked me when I seen it, but there is, the true crime. Everybody loves true crime and the ID channel, right? And back in the days when the ID channel was really, really growing or whatnot. But there is a documentary, if you actually look up Willie Earl Poindexter, where They talked to him about the murder. He discussed his upcoming execution, and he was subsequently executed. And I mean, all of this in very vivid detail in this documentary. And so if you're interested, definitely take a look at it. But the thing is, like, there were 5 men total involved in that situation that night. And 3 of them, from Oklahoma, just so young. And Bobo Bell is gotta be very grateful that all he did was 5 years in prison, because I'm telling you, it wasn't. I've seen cases where they've given out the death penalty in just like conspiracy type murder setup. So yeah, but that was a long time ago. Like I said, that was back in like 93 when that happened. She was 85, 90 years old. So it just if you live alone as a woman, especially, you obviously don't have the same strength that a man would have. It is kind of scary. And I think that's probably one of the things that women look to a man for, that protection, that comfort, those sorts of things, right? But not everybody's married, and not everybody has somebody in their life that they can trust like that. And so I really would encourage anyone who's living alone, especially as you're getting older, to make sure that you have a weapon in your home. Like, do it the right way, though, but you got to have something. Like, you can't not have something, because everybody else has got something. So I'm just of the opinion that it's very important that you have something where you can protect yourself, even if it's pepper spray, for God's sakes, taser, a little pistol. There's nothing wrong with teaching an elderly woman how to use a handgun, especially for to protect herself. But of course, I think, like, how in the heck did he, I mean, the way that he did this, right? At the Walmart store, following her around, ends up at her home, killing her. Like, this was meticulous. And then this is the 18th murder? Really? Only 18? Tell me, why are thoughts of that Kenyan vampire guy coming into my head? The guy that they called the Kenyan vampire that killed all those children over there in Kenya. Do you know that he was actually found dead recently? That's another story that we've covered as well. But you guys, I'll definitely be online, throughout the day today, dropping some videos. There is an FBI document that I want to discuss later on today. Very interesting FBI document that came from the Freedom of Information Act, of course. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the vault or whatnot, but there's some very interesting, and this, obviously, because it's the FBI and it's a document that was released by the FBI, I think it's absolutely worthy of discussion. And of course, it does center around paranormal, UFOs, and all that good stuff, right? Human slash hybrid slash beings, whatever you want to call them. So just be in tune on that. Lately, to be honest with you, I've been putting my content on whatever channel that I do that type of content on. Like, now, I honestly may never put another video up on like leaku.com like that, I seem to like the concept of the way I'm doing it now. And, because I cover there's like 3 or 4 main things that I talk about. Um, and so those are the channels where you'll find that content. So very important. If you don't see a video or if you know of one, you go to the leaky.com homepage and check out the featured channel list, because I'll have all my channels in that list. So make sure you sub, because you never know which one I might be on, literally. And yeah, like outside of that, yeah, got some merch coming soon. So that's something I've been working on. So yeah. But yeah, everybody, happy Friday to you. I just wanted to bring this case up and talk about it, especially being the fact it's happened right here in Dallas. Nobody, I'm sure Miss Harris, of course, didn't think that that day when she got up to go to Walmart, that would be her last day of life, and there'd be some weirdo in Walmart targeting her out meticulously, following her and following her home and killing her. That's nuts. But that's what these people are on, man. Like no care in the world. Not a single care in the world for another human being at all. The way that some of these killers do it. And the question I have, do you guys ever wonder if these people are just evil, or if there's like demonic entities or demonic type spirits that can, I guess it all comes down to what is sin, right? Really, at the end of the day. And I know there's 1,000 answers for that question, but it's just like 18 people. I just feel like there's probably way more than that. This guy, the way he planned this out, that Walmart surveillance footage says a lot. It says a lot. And again, I'm very curious about why the death penalty isn't being sought after in this case. I don't know. Maybe they feel like the case, I don't know. I'm just curious about that, because I would think a serial killer, okay, who is suspected of killing 18 people, that they'd at least be trying to get the death penalty in at least one of those murders. But, it's horrible. Horrible. I mean, there's serial kill. Back in the day, right? I mean, it's kind of crazy, but like I could literally tell you like serial killers, who they are, where their locations are. That is an interest. It is a macabre interest, but an interest nonetheless, under that whole true crime umbrella, whatever you want to call that. But it's like serial killers, they're everywhere. And it ain't even just serial killings. We're talking mass killers, mass murderers, where they kill a lot of people, but they do it in a single act, versus somebody who over a period of time meticulously kills and, picks off victims and stuff like that. So anyway, y'all, I'm out of here. Just, have your notifications on. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.